Seagrass and kelp. Although these two species look similar, they are in fact very different in nature. Let's draw them out. Can you guys guess which picture is kelp and which is seagrass? Let's start with the first one. This algal species needs something hard, like a rock, to attach. It attaches to the rock at something called a holdfast. The stem or stipe extends up and has large fat blades. Let's draw the second plant. This one has a horizontal shoot that extends laterally called a rhizome. It has roots that dig deep under the ground and secure the plant so that it does not wash away. Thin leaves extend up from the shoot, and some of these leaves even have small flowers attached to it. So do you guys think this one is the kelp or this one? That's right, you guys got it. It's the first one. This one is kelp, and the one with roots and leaves is the seagrass. Now let's compare the two species. Where do each of them live? Seagrasses need a lot of sunlight, so they live in shallow coastal areas. Kelp, on the other hand, cannot live in warm temperatures. They reside in temperate areas with cooler temperatures. In Educational Module 7, we talked about hard versus soft substrate. What kinds of substrate do these species live on? Seagrasses are versatile. They can live in sand, mud, or even rocks. Kelp, however, needs something hard to hold on to, like we modeled in our diagram. Now, what happens from their loss? Remember when we learned about eutrophication, the increase in biomass due to an increased amount of nutrients? This can block the sunlight, because the mass on the top of the water would make the water murky and the seagrass cannot photosynthesize. What about loss in kelp? Loss in kelp can cause a trophic cascade. A trophic cascade is when the loss of one species affects all the subsequent species above or below it in the food chain. Let's go through an example to understand how each trophic level is affected. These animals, called sea otters, like to feed on an organism called sea urchins. Sea urchins like to feed on algae, called kelp. Let's say that humans are hunting sea otters for their fur. As a result, their population starts to decrease. Since there are not a lot of sea otters eating sea urchins, the population of the sea urchins increases by a lot. If the population of the sea urchins is unchecked, they start to eat kelp at alarming rates. This causes the kelp population to crash. This is a complete trophic cascade that results in a loss of kelp.